Etidorhpa. The End of Earth is a mysterious and provocative work that defies easy categorization. First published in 1895 by renowned pharmaceutical researcher John Uri Lloyd, this enigmatic book blends scientific speculation, esoteric philosophy, psychological symbolism, and early science fiction into a singular narrative. Presented as a manuscript passed on by a woman named Luella Drury, the story recounts an otherworldly journey guided by a strange, eyeless being into the depths beneath the Earth's surface. Illustrated by the dedicated artist J. Augustus Knapp, who believed in the story's factual foundation, Etidorhpa sparked heated debate and fascination for decades. Its cryptic connection to the real-life disappearance of Captain William Morgan, along with its exploration of gravity, perception, nutrition, and the limits of human knowledge, make it a compelling study in both literal and symbolic terms. Whether viewed as a visionary allegory, a hidden initiation text, or a strange blend of fact and fiction, Etidorhpa invites readers on a journey not just to the center of the earth, but into the deepest realms of the human mind and spirit. 1. What is Etidorhpa, and what is its significance? Etidorhpa, The End of Earth, is a unique and controversial book that appeared in 1895, written by John Uri Lloyd, a prominent pharmaceutical researcher. The book is presented as a strange history of a mysterious being and a remarkable journey communicated to Luella Drury, who then passed the manuscript to Lloyd for publication. While it has elements that resemble modern science fiction, it deeply explores scientific, philosophical, mystical, and psychological themes. Its significance lies in the storm of controversy it caused upon its release, with many readers grappling with its blend of seemingly factual details and fantastical elements. The book was the subject of intense discussion and debate for over a decade, with some treating it as a serious scientific or esoteric work. 2. Who was John Uri Lloyd, and what was his involvement with Etidorhpa? John Uri Lloyd was a respected and leading figure in pharmaceutical research in the United States, and the head of the Lloyd Pharmaceutical Company. He was a chemist and a scholar of high reputation. His involvement with Etidorhpa was as the publisher, taking on the responsibility after the original custodian, Luella Drury, evaded it. Lloyd, despite his scientific background, refused to discuss the book publicly after its publication, stating that the story within the book was all he would reveal. This reluctance from such a prominent scientific figure further fueled the mystery and controversy surrounding the work. 3. What role did J. Augustus Knapp play in the creation and understanding of Etidorhpa? J. Augustus Knapp was the illustrator for Etidorhpa and a close friend of Manly P. Hall. Knapp was a graduate of the Cincinnati Art Institute and a professional artist. Commissioned by Lloyd to illustrate the book, Knapp became deeply convinced that it was a serious scientific work. He undertook extensive personal research, attempting to follow the story's journey and verify its details. Knapp claimed to have corroborated many of the book's descriptions of persons, places, and circumstances, even locating landmarks mentioned in the text. He was able to make the portraiture for the frontispiece because he also met the original author, I Am the Man, on the street in Cincinnati. Knapp's efforts suggest a potential factual basis for at least the initial parts of the story, although he was unable to physically complete the entire journey described. 4. What is the connection between Etidorhpa and the Captain William Morgan incident? Etidorhpa appears to incorporate elements related to the Captain William Morgan incident of 1827. Captain William Morgan attempted to publish an exposé of Freemasonry, which allegedly led to his abduction and presumed death by being thrown into the Niagara River. The book, Etidorhpa, includes a narrative that some interpret as a symbolic retelling of Morgan's experience, where he is driven downward into a subterranean region. This connection adds another layer of mystery and potential hidden meaning to the book, linking the protagonist's journey to the controversial historical event. 5. Is Etidorhpa a work of pure fiction, or does it have a factual basis? According to the provided text, Etidorhpa is not considered a book of pure fiction. J. Augustus Knapp's researches, which involved physically checking landmarks and seeking corroborating witnesses, suggested that the initial parts of the story had a completely factual springboard. Many of the locations and events described in the early sections were apparently verifiable. However, after a certain point, the story enters realms that cannot be checked by ordinary means, suggesting a shift from the literal to the symbolic or allegorical. While the initial premise might be rooted in reality, the subsequent journey delves into deeper, potentially non-literal experiences. 6. What are some of the key scientific and philosophical concepts explored in Etidorhpa? Etidorhpa delves into several unconventional scientific and philosophical concepts. It proposes a unique inter-Earth cosmogony, suggesting that there are regions beneath the Earth's surface that are significantly different from conventional geological understanding, and that events below influence the surface. The book also challenges conventional scientific understanding, with the protagonist explicitly stating that the reverse of scientific assertions often proves true. It explores ideas about nutrition beyond chemical composition, positing an invisible something else or pure life substance essential for nourishment. Furthermore, the story examines the nature of gravity, suggesting it's linked to egocentricity, and that neutralizing self-centeredness can negate gravitational pull. The concept of light having a continuous luminance in the Earth's interior, originating from within rather than the sun, is another unusual scientific idea presented. Philosophically, the book touches upon the nature of illusion, suggesting that the entire world might be a dream sustained by human perception. 7. How can the journey in Etidorhpa be interpreted symbolically or psychologically? Beyond a literal interpretation, the journey in Etidorhpa can be understood as a profound psychological and symbolic exploration. The movement from the Earth's surface into the subterranean regions can symbolize a journey into one's own inner life, the subconscious and unconscious realms. The strange landscapes, experiences, and encounters represent the exploration of the hidden aspects of the psyche. The eyeless guide can be seen as a representation of intuition, or a non-sensory inner faculty that guides the individual's self-discovery. The encounters with deformed beings in the region of the drunkards can be interpreted as symbolic representations of the internal deformities caused by negative emotions and inner corruption, invisible in the external body but real in the inner life. The meeting with Etidorhpa, Aphrodite spelled backward, can symbolize the discovery of the redeeming power of love within the self. The end of Earth can represent a transcendence of the limitations of the physical and egoistic self, a step into a state of absolute peace or nirvana attainable through self-renunciation. 8. What is the significance of the ending of Etidorhpa? The ending of Etidorhpa is deliberately ambiguous and deeply symbolic. The protagonist reaches the end of Earth, described as a jumping-off place into an absolute and undescribable state. The journey beyond this point is not narrated, as the protagonist claims it's a state that cannot be known until experienced and cannot be forgotten once realized. The mysterious eyeless guide departs, replaced by a higher teacher, suggesting a transition to a more profound level of understanding or initiation. The protagonist hands the manuscript to Drury and then fades away, reinforcing the elusive and potentially non-physical nature of the journey or the protagonist. The ending reinforces the idea that the book might be an initiation ritual or a psychological journey where the ultimate truth is beyond conventional description and must be personally experienced.